It's a little colder than I thought. My drag is so loose. First cast, first fish. I think we're in for a good day. Oh, no, don't rub my line. 2-pounder. I'm not gonna flip them. I don't want to lose the first fish. All right, where are you at? Yep, that's a 2-pounder all day. Yeah, first cast. Just threw on the wacky rig right there. I think we're gonna be catching a bunch of those today. Yeah. I think these are gonna be the smaller ones. Gorgeous 2-pounders, man. They never get. It's so fun letting them thump your worm.
I'll take that any day.
All right, buddy. There you go. Today we're doing some more bass fishing. I told you guys I was gonna do more bass fishing because it's didn't do much of it last year at all. So we're back on another bass mission, and as you guys saw, first cast magic, caught a 2-pounder. I'm out here with my cousin Tubi. He just caught one too, but I was still flying my drone. So when it comes to bass fishing, my favorite time of the year is anywhere from April to June. We're in June, so we're like ending that prime time for bass fishing for me. Granted, you could catch bass year round. This is just my favorite time of the year because it's kind of a weird year. Usually by this time, late, middle June, a lot of the bass are like post-spawn mode. But this year we've had such a prolonged spring that the bass are actually on like a delayed spawn. They're actually on beds right now. We're rocking with 2 primary lures today. We've got a wacky rig. That's what I caught my first bass off of. And then the other thing is just a swim jig. It's kind of the problem with having 2 rods. Whenever you're walking, you gotta put the other rod down before you can fish. And then once you move, you gotta pick it back up again. So with the wacky rig, it's pretty simple. I'm going weightless, so there's no weight on there. So my worm sinks very, very slow, which that's how I want it because it is pretty shallow here. So if you have a weight on there, your worm's just gonna sink to the bottom too fast. And weightless is just more natural. So let it sink. And I just kind of twitch it up a couple times like this towards me. And then if they're gonna hit it, you're gonna feel the thump. And if they take it, you can just see your line start moving with the fish. Fish on. Dude, I love it when they take the line like that. This guy's worthy of flipping. Oh. Tiny guy, but I ain't complaining. A bass is a bass. There you go. Just a 1-pounder, 1.5-pounder. It's a healthy looking fish right there. Toss my worm right into this weed patch right here because it just provides a lot of good cover for bass. And just kind of worked it slowly. Felt the thump, let him take my line, then gave him a decent hook set. My drag's a little loose, so that hook set was kind of a fail. But all right, he wanted to go. Is that a bass that just jumped right there? What? There's a fish that just jumped over here. I don't know if this is a bass, but never know until you try. What? What is that? Is that a bass? Right on top of you, bud. Might be a carp. Oh, that was a bite. That's got to be a bass. All right, well, I'm not entirely sure what that was. I'm assuming it's a bass, but he's not cooperating anymore, so we're just gonna leave him be. Just go back to our regular game plan. So this right here is called a swim jig. And when it comes to jigs, there's a couple different types. You've got swim jigs, flipping jigs, football jigs, etc. But the reason why I went with a swim jig is because more or less you can work them just like a football jig or a flipping jig. I think the swim jig alone is just the most versatile jig out there. And the reason why I'm going with the swim jig today is because I can work it off the bottom like a football jig, or I can just cast and retrieve like I would a swim jig. Or if I want to flip or pitch into like dense cover like this, I can do it too, because the swim jig is relatively weedless. Swim jig, just cast it out and you can work it off the bottom by letting it sink to the bottom and just kind of twitching it up and down, or you can just slowly drag it along the bottom, or you can just retrieve it in the middle of the column of the water, just imitating like a little bait fish or something. So a very simple lure to use. And with a swim jig, when you're reeling like this, there's like no motion on the swim jig at all. So anytime a fish hits it, you can feel the thump, like clear as day. It doesn't vibrate like a lipless crankbait. It doesn't vibrate like a chatterbait. It's just smooth through the water. So when you're reeling like this, you don't feel anything on your rod at all. So anytime you feel a thump, it's usually your swim jig bumping into rocks, weeds, or it's a fish biting. Oh my gosh, I was about to lift it and recast. Oh my goodness, this guy's a fighter. Oh, it's a solid 3.5. Might as well, I guess. Dude, he bit it like right here. Like I started turning because I was gonna like recast, and I went to recast. I was like, why is it stuck? And then I was like, oh wait, there's a fish. Oh, that was so cool. That's a good one. Yeah, dude, that might be a 4-pounder. Oh my gosh. Chunky. Look at that tail. Yeah. All right, no weight, but our weight's not working. I think we'll catch bigger ones. There you go. He was like right here. Thank you. You guys see that right there? This right here is a nick. I'm gonna have to retie because this could be a breaking point when I set the hook on the next fish. Just want to remind you guys, don't be afraid to take a minute or two to just retie, because trust me, when I say that it'll save you a lifetime of heartbreaks by just simply retying, I mean it. It's gonna retie a uni knot onto my hook here, and we're just gonna keep going. And the bite definitely died off a little bit after I caught that 3.5 pounder, but the day's still young. Got a lot of water to cover still. Got him. Right at the shore. Another 3-pounder maybe? Oh, that does not get old. Wow. Another nice 2-pounder right there. Beautiful fish. Solid 2-pounder, but just awesome. Just slow rolled my wacky rig right there and he picked it up, and that was it. Nice little fish right there. One last look at that lateral line and just the color of this fish. All right, there you go, bud. Here he goes. It's one of the things I love doing with the wacky rig is when it's really slow, like how we've been experiencing for the past 2 hours, you can really just leave the wacky rig just kind of sitting on the bottom, almost like it's dead sticking, and then just barely move it, like just barely inch it. And a lot of times, if you're fishing weightless like this, just little chops like this in the water is already enough to just give action to your wacky rig without you even having to do anything. That's kind of what I did, and picked it up right in front of me. That was cool. But it's definitely slowed down. Like, these fish are a lot more lethargic. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're just not as aggressive as this morning. So you really have to slow it down to match their mood so that they want to pick up the lure. So that was the first fish in like 2 hours. So I'm just fishing super slow right now. It's just letting my wacky rig sit on the bottom, and then I'm just like barely like moving it towards me and just hoping that a fish will pick it up. Oh, another bite. That was another bite right there. Oh, I got him. He was on the whole time. Another one, bro. You gotta fish really slow. Like, they're really, really slow. That's a little football right there. Barely got him too on the bottom of the lip. Wow. A little shorter, a little bit more football sized. That's awesome. You guys see that? Change the pattern to match what the fish want and you'll be catching fish. That is awesome. All right, bud. There you go. That beautiful piece of plastic right there did its job today. So again, we only came out here for the morning, and morning is pretty much done, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Definitely felt good to just finally go back to the roots of bass fishing for me and just throw around the wacky rig and whatnot, but that's gonna do it. Just a fun little outing, just catching some bucket mouths. So till then, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys back on the water. I don't know if I'm chasing bass next or trout or crappie or what, but we'll be back on the water soon. Thanks for watching, guys.